Hi, I'm Pope Violon with Life Lessons. We've made various recipes that we've posted here on YouTube, and today I'm going to be making, it's a version of like when you take ground beef and you cook it on a stove and you make soft tacos, where you take your corn tortillas, you deep fry them, and not deep fry them, but you just fry them in oil and you make your typical soft tacos out of hamburger meat. You can find these in restaurants and everything. But today I'm going to be making a version of that, but this is going to be made with Milanesa beef. It's a Mexican version of it's just round steak, which is cut very thin. If you take a look at it, this is what it looks like. It's what they call wafer thin. It's super thin. This is a very popular meat in Mexico, and they refer to this as Milanesa beef or meat. And all we're going to do to start this is we're just going to take some salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and all we're going to do is we're just going to season it, and we're only going to season it on one side, and we're just going to, because what we're going to do is we're going to let this set in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. That's just your garlic powder, your pepper, and all the other ingredients, you know, the lettuce, tomatoes, the corn tortillas, all of that. We'll show that in a little bit, because this has to set in the refrigerator for 2 hours prior to prepping it and getting it ready to cook. And so now we're just going to put some salt. And although I call this a cigar style, what I do is I just like to put salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And then all I do is roll it up like a cigar. This is 3 different cuts. So I'm just going to roll it up, put it in a little container. Because this container we're going to put in the refrigerator, and we're going to time it and just leave it in there for at least 2 hours, just so it can absorb some of these ingredients. We're going to put them in there. And if you notice, there are some little fat contents on the meat, and we're going to take this knife, which we've showed in several of our videos, which I've told y'all. We also own a fishing tackle company. This is our Stellar Fishing fillet knife. This is the 9-inch version. We sell it online for like $12.99. It's a great knife, probably the sharpest knife we use. But after we cook the meat, so that way you can get some of the flavor from the oil that's going to melt, or that's going to burn when you cook the meat. But then we'll take that knife and trim some of the excess off before we put it in taco form later, so that way you don't get any tough bites out of it. So for right now, there's your meat. It's going to go in the refrigerator for 2 hours, and then we'll come back in a little bit with all the ingredients and show you how we're going to fry this thing up. Okay, the first part of the video, all we did was season the meat, roll it up like little cigars, put it in the refrigerator for 2 hours. So now we're ready to prep this meal to cook it. And these are your ingredients for what's going to go inside your Milanesa tacos when we're finished. Just some sour cream, tomatoes, lettuce, avocado, grated cheese. And then these little teepees are what we're going to put the taco shells in once we do that. But as a reminder, when we get to the taco shell part, we already have a previous video on how to make the perfect taco shells, which it applies to if you're making soft tacos or you're making these Milanesa soft tacos. So either way. And also we're going to put a link for the knife that we described to you earlier. That's also going to be in the video. So taking a look right here, here's the meat that we rolled up like little cigars. Now they're very thin, so they're going to cook pretty fast. So what we're going to do is I'm going to unroll 2 of them, put them in there, because you don't want to throw all of them in there and then just have a big old pile in there. So we're just going to unroll them. And we already seasoned them, so they're good to go. So as you can see, it takes up most of the pan. Now, since it's this thin, we're going to turn it over, and that's just a little bit of olive oil in the pan. And we're just going to flip it over a couple of times where it's nice and brown. We're going to take it out, put the rest of it in, and then we're going to come back once all the meat's cooked, so we can show you how we cut it to prep it for the tacos. Thank you. As we start cooking the second batch of the Milanesa, if you come this way, we've already taken out the first batch. And as you can see, I like it nice and toasty in some spots. You can't get it all toasty and everywhere. But all we're gonna do is cut one piece. Now what we're gonna do, and again, very sharp, okay? We're just gonna cut them into little slivers. We're not gonna go and cut it into 8 million little pieces like taco meat. This is how I like to eat it, in little slivers. So we're just gonna cut this piece. Well, we're gonna cut all of them into little slivers this big, so that when you put them in the tacos, they're gonna fit perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and finish cooking the second batch, cut this whole batch here first, and then we're gonna come back. Now over here, like I said, we've got a video of doing the corn tortillas. That's just a little bit of olive oil here. We've got our plate where you can put the tortillas on there to soak up the oil, and obviously your corn tortillas. So we're gonna skip all of that since we already have a previous video on that. And we're gonna come back once I have all the meat cut, the tortillas done, and we're ready to have a finished product. Okay, and what we've done on the stove is we've already had just prepared one shell. And all we're gonna do is, like I said, these are in little strands. So you can just put your strands in there of your Milanesa. And of course you have everything, we have everything prepped here. So it's gonna be like a little buffet line. I can put some tomatoes, I can put some lettuce, I can put some sour cream, some cheese, and some guacamole, and we're all good. So that's our recipe for Milanesa de res, in Spanish is what it's called, which is just a round steak with beef tacos. It's just our version of your regular soft tacos. And hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something today to be able to prep this meal at home. And make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this recipe. And also go down to the descriptions. You'll see the link for the knife and also for the ingredients that are here, and the link to the page on how to make the perfect taco shell. Thank you very much. I'm Poke Violon, and subscribe to my page.